Hello and welcome to another episode of Whatever's Cool, the show where we talk about anything and everything that is cool in the world today. I am the family disappointment, Daniel Paul Crowe, and on this episode, I have a sit-down interview with Adrenalin Pro Wrestling star Adam Crowe. We talk about his humble beginnings in the world of professional wrestling and address the elephant in the room, are we actually related? So sit back, relax, and enjoy Humping is Life with Adam Crowe.
Now, we got an elephant in the room that we need to address. Now, are we actually related? Because we also obviously have the same last name, but I don't see the resemblance.
So, there's something I've always been wanting to tell you.
Okay.
Tell you specifically.
Yeah.
Your parents, are they still together?
They're both no longer here, unfortunately.
I'm very sorry to hear that, but a long, long time ago, I may have come across someone you're related to, maybe your auntie, maybe your grandmother. I've been around a lot longer than you know, young man.
All right.
And they decided, when they had a child without a father, they decided to give that child their father's last name. And that father, that child, is a descendant of yours. And they named them after me.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that then.
I'm also a time traveler.
Okay. Fair enough. Weird one we've had on What If It's Cool, that's for sure. That's why I always say I'm not related to you.
So you think?
I can't even keep a straight face on that. Adam, firstly, again, thank you so much for being part of our show. And thank you for being a good sport for just going with that joke there. I wanted to firstly get to know you because you are one of the stars who I absolutely love to see. Like from the first time I saw you, which I believe was, can't remember which breakout, it might have been breakout 26 or something like that. Automatically you came out with your mirror and I went, what the hell's going on with this guy? And I thought, okay, just a standard heel. But you just immediately just caught my attention, and I just absolutely think you're fantastic. I want to know firstly, how did you get into the industry?
It started a long time ago, going back about 2006, 2007.
Mm-hmm.
I was just a young chap. My older brother was quite interested in the industry himself. Very, very interested. He was, in fact, about 14, 15 years of age, and he took it upon himself to get involved in any capacity. So he grabbed a camera, or he picked up a few chairs, or he was willing to do anything. And he had a bit of a personality about himself. So he eventually became a manager in the industry. And as a young kid, I watched that. Got to know a lot of the wrestlers to this day. So a lot of people have known guys like Mad Dog, Dixon, Chris Law, Joel Bateman. A lot of those guys I met a lot when they were a lot younger. Now they're just it's amazing how far and how good they've gotten. And I already thought they were really good then. They were blowing my mind when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Now I'm sharing the locker room with a lot of these guys, and I'm seeing them come back bloody beaten, and the crowd is cheering or booing them accordingly. They're still doing their thing about 15 years later.
Wow.
So just watching through the grapevines, eventually he moved to South Australia, and when I was about 18, I moved along as well. And when he was there, he was also involved with the wrestling scene. And about that time when we joined, it was about 2013.
Mm-hmm.
We just went to a wrestling event called Snake Pit, and now known as PWSA.
Okay.
Yeah. They were running an event, and at the time he hadn't been involved with them for about a year at that stage. And as soon as he watched it, I don't know, I think he just got an itch. So he just really needed the scratch. He's like, these guys didn't have the quality we could put together. Rah, rah, rah. He really felt invested about it. I thought it was an awesome show personally. And he's like, you and I could do it better. And I looked at him and I was like, well, why don't we? Well, why don't we jump in there?
Yeah.
So he got back into managing, and he was managing about 6 guys, I think. He was a really, really over heel manager. When I joined, I was about 3 months after training. I was training 4 nights a week, about a minimum of 3 hours each session. after that, when I jumped on the main roster, he was half managing me from time to time as well. So that was
Wow.
something that was really really cool. Um we did a rookie event, specifically like a rookie show, and coincidentally, they didn't need a manager for that show, so he decided to be a referee on that show. And my very first match against I'm not sure if you've heard of him, Big Michael Weaver.
Do you know Michael
He
Weaver?
was I was wrestling Michael Weaver in my very first match, and my older brother was the referee, and all he was doing was making fun of me, saying, "Ah, he's kicking your ass." So if I'm honest, I've got a lot of my older brother to thank. He's sort of turned it into a family business for us over time.
Wow. But I was going to ask this later on, but obviously your debut was with Michael Weaver. Um, how stiff were some of those shots with Michael?
I think to this day, February 23rd, 2014, was that first match. To this day, I could still feel the room spin. he, yeah, some of those. Some people say you never forget your first. I'll never forget the first time Weaver hit me.
Yeah, no, I've seen some footage. I've never seen Michael live, but I have seen some footage, and I have heard through a lot of people that we do know in the industry, and those are pretty stiff shots. Almost to the I can't remember who said this to me. It may have been I can't remember who it was now off the top of my head, but I remember they said it was just on par. Some of the chops he did was on the par with Walter as well. Would you agree with that?
I can think I've never personally tried one of Walter or Gunther's chops in this case, but I wouldn't want one of Weaver's chops. We've always known him as a notorious chopper. A fun little tale for you. There was a day I was actually fighting Weaver at APW's. I believe my APW main show debut back in 2019, I believe. And I was teaming with the Magic Man. And he wanted to he was trying to tell me like, oh, I've heard about Weaver's shots. He was like, oh, I heard he's got a metal rod in his arm. Like, oh, I believe that's true. And he goes, oh, I hope he chops me instead of hits me. And I just looked him
What?
square in the eye. Yeah, I looked him square in the eye. It just I think the thought process that went through his head is like, I don't want to be hit with a metal rod. I'm like, I think you would rather be hit with a metal rod in this scenario.
Oh my God. Why
So
would you ever want to do that?
So if you want a comparison to like what you like, how hard you think his chops are, I'd rather take the metal rod in his arm than the chops on his from his hands.
I'm just really shocked that someone would say, "Oh, I want to get chopped." I've been chopped before, and it's not fun. I've seen that, and I can't even imagine. I not even on my worst enemy, I would never say no. I want you to get chopped. No freaking way would I do that. Oh, scary thought. Oh, but you've come from South Australia, now based in Melbourne. What is some of the biggest difference between South Australian fans and the Victorian fans?
Um, it's actually quite fascinating the difference between them. So South Australian fans, I'm not sure if you've ever experienced I guess from my experience from South Australian fans, because I didn't get to experience all the events in South Australia. Hopefully one day I get to do so, like Wrestle Rampage and RCW and ACW. There's a lot of good talent there. But from my experience, a lot of those fans were really invested in your character. So they almost bled true following the story of what was happening with you, whether it was months apart or the very next week. So that was really fun, and it didn't matter about the action. They just rocked up. If you watched, they would, like, if you hit the floor near enough to the floor, they'd look at you and be like, "Are you okay?" So they were more worried about you than they were concerned about giving you a hard time. They were really invested in you from what I found.
Yeah.
The Melbourne fans they're an interesting variety. They don't so much give you a hard time, but like, well, some of them do.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really unique part. And some of them have found from my experience, because in Melbourne I've got to work with a few different places, thankfully, and fingers crossed I'm going to be working with a few more. For example, I was in Horsham just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And the fans there, they were an interesting variety. We want to see character. We also want to see fight back. And I really enjoyed that they were. I really enjoyed that they were sort of almost closer to a bit of a WWE kind of fan, whereas a lot of Melbourne fans can almost be closer to an indie kind of fan.
Okay, very interesting.
Just from my experience, you know. So like sometimes you get a little more creative chance out of the fans closer to the metropolitan area, whereas a little further you get out, you know, they keep it basic, like you suck or you're ugly.
Well, who had the worst taunts? Was it is it definitely Victoria, or was it over there in South Australia?
In South Australia, they were pretty open to if you had suggestions, and I remember over time, like you know, because I was a bit of a mark boy myself. I wanted to see them say things I wanted to hear as well.
Yeah.
So at one point, especially there was a time in one's life, you wouldn't believe it. It's a good guy. All right, and I decided to. The South Australian fans, they just tickled me in the right ways.
All right.
And there was a time when I really didn't like the other person, but I wanted them to chant my name as well. And all the phase, you know, especially when CM Punk got the fans going, let's go Cena, CM Punk. I was like, let's go Adam, F this guy.
Okay.
You know, and they just like wildfire, they caught on it really quickly. So that was actually a really cool thing about the South Australian fans. You know, if you started clapping with your song, that was something they would do, but it wouldn't stop the first time. They would start doing it every time. If you put together a name that they really liked, they would start chanting it on the spot, and they wouldn't let it go. So it was that's what I meant by that sort of investment. Like if you sort of said like, hey, you should start caring about this, they're going, all right, we're in.
Yeah. Sounds like the South Australia is the place to be when if you want to be wrestling, just get a crowd over. That just sounds like a more fun environment. No offense to the wrestling fans here in Victoria, but it just from what you're telling me there, I want to be in that crowd. I want to cheer like no tomorrow. But we don't get that much here in Victoria.
Well, you do. That's the funny thing, and that's when you say like, oh, I look like another heel, but because I sort of came in with that, you know, this is how I deal with crowds. I find it, funnily enough, that like it's I found it more, I guess maybe through my teacher, Johnny Raddick. He was a very interesting character. So I take a lot of inspiration from him. But when I sort of use a little bit of his spice in my work, I find people sort of catch on a little bit more. I remember I worked an event in Supernova, and I was just, you know, doing my own thing. I had months that was patterned to look like a sleeping unicorn, and I loved it. And for whatever reason, even though I am who I am, the Dreamboat, a lot of people came up to me. Can I get a photo with you? This is a lot of fun. I had the merchant at one of the stalls come up to me and goes, I really like your character. And he came up to me and gave me a foam barbed wire bat from Walking Dead. I've never seen Walking Dead. When he handed it to me, I was like, yeah, all right, yeah, no worries, yeah, I like you now.
Man, that's pretty cool.
So I find it wasn't so much, I guess, it's not so much the crowd, but sort of how you utilize yourself. And I guess the Melbourne crowd is a little bit different to what I bring to, especially to what I was taught in South Australia and what they're used to.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's what I love about the Melbourne crowd. They're almost a different beast to me. They're like, oh, I can, you know, if I can mount this and ride this and enjoy this ride, that this is going to be something else. Like I really thought it was a fun roller coaster ride, putting everyone through that event. Did you see APW's most recent event?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, did you see after I fought Volito? The kind of reactions we were able to elicit from the crowd, especially when I got to play that beautiful prank on a lot of you, but making you think Josh Redfield was really going to be there. But then, you know, he decided to be there.
Yeah.
Which is really disappointing. That's because a lot of the fun. But the roller coaster ride, well, you guys seem to enjoy it. I was a bit disappointed with that fact. But I was really happy with how disappointed all of you were to begin with.
Yeah.
And the fact that we can offer that kind of stuff here, you know, like in my experience, I haven't gotten to see a great deal of that so far in the Melbourne scene, which still tells me there's a lot to be done and a lot that the crowd's probably going to be looking forward to, especially moving forward.
Well, what prompted you to go from South Australia to come to Melbourne?
So as I was explaining earlier with my older brother, I never explained
Mm.
that I was actually born here in Melbourne.
Oh,
I
right.
was born in the northwestern suburbs, cuz.
Mate,
Through
southeastern boy right here, mate. But at the same time, I was born in northeast too, so I can't really say much on that one. But I
well,
represent the
maybe that's
southeast.
well, maybe we have a lot more in common. Maybe we are related in some far ancestral way because that's exactly the kind of move I've made. Because
Mm.
I was born and raised in the northwestern suburbs in Gladstone Park. I can never forget Gladdy and Broady. But then after I moved back from South Australia, I moved back to that area and just didn't feel like it was me. So I've been living in the southeast ever since. I moved to moved to Dandenong, then I moved to Springvale, and I just most recently, like literally this weekend, um, moved to
Oh, right. Okay.
yeah.
Good area.
So yeah, no, yeah, I'm officially southeastern.
Yep.
Absolutely love it on this side of town. My northwestern brothers, I'm sorry, but get over here. It's way better. You know where the beach is, right? You know Broady's on that side of town.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, but getting back to your question,
Yeah.
I moved to South Australia about end of 2013, and it was just I think the very first Friday I was living there. That's when we suggested us going to check out a wrestling show. But
Yeah.
that was just the first week living in South Australia. So I finished out year 12 in 2013. So I was quite literally 18. And then about 4.5 years, 5 years later, about 2018, something just hit me, and I just went, I got to go home. Um, Won almost every championship I could at PWSA except the big one. So who knows if that chance will ever come? But still proud of everything I got to do there. Got to work a lot of really good workers as well there as well. Before I finished up in 2018, guys like Acid Hayes,
Hmm.
Matt Hayter,
Yep.
Michael Weaver. Can never forget Weaver. Johnny Raddick. I can't believe I put him at the end there. And there's many more who will probably upset me that I haven't got a chance to mention them. And a lot of interstaters that came in and out of that place because we worked weekly events. So
Yep.
those 4.5 years, it felt a lot longer than 4.5 years. I think I got about 500 matches worth of experience in that time.
Holy, that's a lot of matches for so little time.
Yeah, and it was incredible. We were running events. It was weekly, and then we moved to 3 times a fortnight. So it was Friday, Sunday, and then the alternating Saturday, and then rinse and repeat. And that was like that over and over. But so a lot of that kind of played into effect because I was working every single one of those events.
Yeah.
I can't stand not working an event if I can help it.
Mm.
I love getting out there and just you know messing someone up. Just my thing. I'll do it weekly. I'll do it daily. Do it nightly if I need to. But after that, it did start to wear me thin, doing it many years in a row.
Mm.
So it felt like it was time to come home after having a bit of what I thought was an incredible run for 4.5 years straight, working weekly, and fortnightly, often as anyone as often as anyone could ask for. It was a blessing, and the experience you get from it as well. So after that, moved back to Broadmeadows and started connecting with APW because at the time I was getting along quite well and go far back with Xavier Black.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so
Recently,
was he doing shows with you over there? Was he?
yeah, he was coming. He was coming now, and we were either fighting each other or fighting together. We'd pick one, and we were doing the same thing. I'd come to Melbourne, and we were either fighting each other or fighting together. So
Mm.
it was a fun little back and forth we got, and got a lot of respect for each other. So when I moved over, he said, "Hey, you should check out APW."
All right.
And the first thing I did is I came to APW Breakout, and I called out Jason Crash. Well, it
All
was
right.
cooking a sausage sizzle, and he just looked at me and said, "Yeah, normally I'd cook up a storm, but at the moment he just lifted his tongue, cooking up a sausage."
I just got that picture in my head of him holding it up. Oh gosh.
Wearing the apron and everything.
Oh really? Oh my god. That would be a sight to see. If eventually when we get Jason on here, I'll have to get him to dress up like that when he definitely when we eventually interview him on there. How did you come up with the Dreamboat character itself?
Stretching a little bit into reality here.
Mm.
It was when I was in South Australia, I was Mr. Awesome Adam Crowe. I took a bit of pride in that name, and always like people were like, "What do you mean by that name?" And I took it in a literal way that like I feel like I could literally do anything you ask me to in the ring.
Yeah.
That seems pretty awesome to me. So I would really try to make a point of really mixing my character, doing a variety of absolutely different things. And I really tried to make sure, like, if I was doing something like more than once, it was part of my moveset every week. You know what I mean? Like if I was gonna do something, I would try to make it unique, try to make it different, and try to have a lot of fun with it as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people can sense that one way or another. Whether you're a wrestling fan, my partner, she's not a wrestling fan at all, but when she sees me doing goofy in a way that I'm enjoying it, even if no one else can see me enjoying it, she could see it. I had a lot of fun with that. Sorry, I'm losing sight of the question.
That's okay. You get it, like you're basically it's you dialed up to 11.
Yeah. So my point was so that I started off with Mr. Awesome by trying to do something different, something creative every week, and until someone came up to me, he was someone who was actually running GCW out in Geelong, Gold Class Wrestling. And he said, like, you got a face about you, mate. We should put a mirror. We should give you a mirror. And I just looked him square in the eye, and I said, "Are you calling me handsome?" And it just started a beautiful relationship between him and I, because from there, like, I put that mirror in front of myself, and you wouldn't believe it if if you didn't see me work for so many years. But I barely look in the mirror like most mornings. So when that mirror was put in front of me, I was like, I am kind of good looking, aren't I? A little bit of that jawline. I got something. Yeah, and my teeth are actually straight. I never had braces. Okay, maybe he's got a point about something. So that was something that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna run with that. Yeah, I told him, yeah, I'll run with that mirror.
Yeah, roll with it, baby. Go for it.
Yeah, the very first event he ran with, it was honest. If I'm honest, I didn't pick my name. He just advertised me, the Dreamboat, Adam Crowe. I just said, yeah, I am dreamy.
What?
I just,
way?
Sometimes someone gives you, sometimes you're standing in the middle of the field. Someone gives you the ball, and you don't look back. You run. You just go. Kick the goal. Get as far as you can. Kick as far as you can. And that was what it was like. I was handed this ball, and I'm still I've kicked it. I think it's still yet to land. I'm not sure if it's even hit its maximum height yet.
It definitely hasn't.
So that's where that came to light. And if I'm honest with you, I've always been a bit of someone who just absolutely loves to be mean to people. Like, just looking someone square in the eye. When they say you're not good looking, I go, well, are you looking in the mirror? Because I am, and I'm not seeing someone who's not good looking. So I gave it to I loved giving it to the fans in the crowd who gave me that KFC box. You know how hard I tried to work to get a KFC sponsorship? KFC is still yet to deny me. And those fans, they gave me a KFC box with no KFC in it. After the show, I berated them. And they go, why are you doing this? And I looked them square in the eye. It's a lot of fun. And then got really upset and told her off for asking that question.
Speaking of KFC, how is the you trying to get endorsed by KFC? Any responses yet?
They check out my stories from time to time.
But no answer. No, they haven't said, oh, look, you're gaining popularity. Let's give you a free box of KFC just for shouting us out.
I don't want a free box of KFC. I want hashtag unlimited free chicken. Is that so hard to ask? I'll walk around with the KFC logo wide across my crotch if I have to. Because that's where everyone's looking anyway. It's a perfect billboard. I've never seen a better billboard than my crotch. I'd be very willing to do that if it meant I get unlimited free chicken. And you know what? To make up for the generosity of giving that unlimited free chicken, I will go around to the crowd and deem whoever is worthy a free piece of popcorn chicken. Each and every one of you that I deem worthy. Boom, right in your hands. How good would that be?
KFC, if you're listening, you need to give this man a not only just a sponsorship, not only free chicken. Oh, just give him the whole company. He deserves it.
Make Colonel Sanders.
Is he even still alive?
Colonel Crowe Sanders.
I smell money with that idea. We could
I
put
smell-
that on a t-shirt,
smell
sell
chicken.
millions, man.
I smell chicken.
Oh my god, the merchandise sales are just oozing just from that little idea, Adam. We can make a lot of money on this, I reckon.
We.
Yeah, we.
Oh, you're part of the family.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking because you said because you're saying that you're a time travel and all that stuff. Yeah, where's my pocket money?
Your great grandmother wants you to know I looked after her.
All right. You hump a lot. I've noticed when we're doing our vlogcasts and doing the editing.
That's in fact how I travel through time. If I hump hard enough, I can break the space-time continuum. That is how I met your great grandmother. But going back to your question, sorry.
Yeah, but I just got this really bad image in my head of you humping and just it's just like have you ever seen Flashpoint, the DC animated it's just you go too fast and then you turn grey. That just came into my head. Oh my god.
No, I hump through time. Time doesn't hump through me.
What is with the humping? Because when we're doing the editing, the consistent thing I see whenever we're doing the editing of your matches is that you hump not only on the way to the ring, halfway through the match, and then at the end you'll go and complete humpful into it. What is it about the humping that you love, and why are you doing it too much?
First of all, where I hail from
Mm-hmm.
is the first example of that. I hail from everyone's mother's fantasies and everyone's girlfriend's bedrooms. Like, you do not understand like how much cardio I have to maintain at all times to make sure that like when I go home, everyone's satisfied. Like if I'm not humping almost every second of the day, I will lose my physique. I will not be able to hump the people I care about. And if I can't hump the ring, if I can't hump the ring post, if I can't hump the air around the ring, then I might not be able to hump the things I care about anymore. Like my couch when I watch TV. Like my bedside table when I put on my socks. Like my microwave when I cook my burritos. So that's why I hump. And if I'm honest with you, the whole humping thing, it started the first time I put the mirror in front of my face. You just a gyrating thing. And I went from being from hailing from Glaston Park to hailing from everyone's mother's fantasies and everybody's girlfriend's bedrooms.
Wow. I didn't realize that humping meant the world to you. I just wasn't expecting that at all.
I don't just get paid to hump. Humping is a lifestyle.
Humping is life. Yeah. Oh man, we're nearly out of time, and oh god, it's been a fun interview. We've been going on back and forth, whether it be comedy or whether it be serious, and I'm loving this. We have to have you again to do a proper serious one and not go on tangents that we have. But we've got to ask the staple question here: what if it's cool? What is something that you find cool that nobody else does?
Like just in general?
Just in general, because like I can. There was something that you posted I think it was yesterday, and I went, "Oh my god! If he finds that cool, I'm all down for him." You posted a photo with you playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Was that with your cat?
No, with my dog.
It was your dog.
I've got a Japanese Spitz, and he's the most beautiful thing on earth. And I just find people's people and animals like behavior is just very fascinating. That's something I think is cool, just the way people react to things. And that's why I love being a bit of a weirdo. I probably started this interview instinctively being a bit of a weirdo, just to see how you'd react to me.
Yeah.
But being a weirdo myself, I was just sitting there. I was going for my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I do love Yu-Gi-Oh. It's a very nostalgia feeling.
Mhm.
And I've got the old classics, Exodia, and they're tournament legal as well, and the Egyptian God cards as well. I
Yeah.
just thought it'd be really funny as he was sitting there. He was trying to walk all over my cards. I'm like, oh, do you want to play? So I put some cards in his hand, and he eventually, like, he was scuffing them around, and he put together Exodia in those pieces. So I slapped them together and took a photo. I was like, yeah.
Wow. So
I was
you
kicking
need
this
to, you need
guy's
to film
ass, and
stuff
he
like that. Film something like that. Put it out there. Think of the amount of views you get. Hey, maybe even Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know who makes the game, but maybe they give you endorsement as well.
maybe you're talking real life fantasies here.
Mate,
But
I'm
no,
not. I am not talking fantasies. I'm talking money. We need to get you this endorsement. That's for sure.
you know what? If anyone ever asks if we're related,
Mm.
tell them yes.
All right.
Tell them yes.
We'll put that now on every vlogcast and everything we promote of yours that we are related. I'll just say you're my great super great uncle. We'll do that way.
Grandfather, but yes.
Oh no. We'll put super. We'll put awesome. Make it that way.
See, we are related.
Yeah. All right. And just lastly, where can all our listeners and viewers find you on all your socials?
Instagram, Adam Crowe Pro Wrestler or PW. You can find me Adam Crowe on Facebook. If you ever decide to see if you could just give it a crack and find me anywhere, Adam Crowe with an E wrestling in Google, in YouTube, you will find me pop up. You will see this beautiful face pop up on some thumbnails. You're gonna be like, yes, click. Hold on, let me unzip my pants. Click. And I hope you enjoy every second that I can offer you of my talent, my abilities, my showmanness, anything I can offer you as an entertainer. I hope you enjoy it. From
Amen.
my hips to my toes to my head to my crotch.
And with that being said, Adam Crowe, thank you so much for being part of our show. Can't wait to see you at the next event, which I believe. What is it? Is it VPW you're at, or is it the next APW show? I've already forgotten.
We've got a couple, in fact. So the next VPW event is February 18th.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard through the grapevines that Jack Wilder wants to be done with me. He feels like he's done it. I'm not done with him, man. I'm coming up with different ways to solve the Jake Wilder problem. I'll promise you that. So February 18th, VPW, keep an eye out on that. But February 25th, someone is invading my home, my kingdom, because I am the king of APW. And apparently, Sammy Guevara, who I don't know if anyone knows personally, I've been saying from the very start, he ran away after he kicked the crap out of Zane Zodiac. And you know what? After I pointed out that fact, I kicked the crap out of Zane Zodiac. And Zane Zodiac, ever since then, has been not the same. Just saying, you should be thanking your king, your true breakout champion. And you know what, Sammy Guevara? I hope you step to my throne, because the Gladiator Championship would look pretty good on me too. In fact, every championship at APW would look good on me, but the Breakout Championship looks best.
Any final words to Sammy Guevara? Since he might be listening to this, you never know.
Don't step to the throne. There are plenty of other peasants you can step to. You stay away from the Breakout Championship, and we're good. No issues. February 25th, I'll be there in the middle of that ring if I can help it. Reminding everyone, breakout champion, the only breakout champion, the real breakout champion. There's no other breakout champion. Anyone else who thinks they're a breakout champion, you heard it from me first. It's crazy. They're the interim breakout championship. They're the interim breakout champion. They're the interim breakout title. They're the interim anything to do with that championship if they're not me. February 25th, come praise your king, APW, Adrenalin Pro Wrestling.
And on February 25th, we will also see you there, and we'll be doing a vlogcast there. Adam Crowe, thank you so much for being part of What If It's Cool. We'll see you then on the 25th.
Take care, great grandson.
Thanks, buddy.
That's the end of that episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this show wherever you get your podcasts. Want more for What If It's Cool? Make sure to check out our YouTube channel, where you can find the latest episodes of Mukbang Around, Reaction, and of course, a vlogcast. And don't forget to follow us on all our socials. We can be found at What If It's Cool. Keep that support coming. And until next time, we'll catch you on next one. Peace.